Hey guys, so we got another little job here to do. We got some welding and fabrication, and this is going to be a pedestal for a big vise. A vise probably about the size of my reed right here, maybe not quite like that, but something similar to it. This is going to be a job for my dentist, Dr. McGilvery. He enjoys watching my videos too. And he's actually got to come over and visit my shop, and every time I'm in there in the office he likes to talk to me about the metalworking and the stuff in the videos and things like that. But he's actually a hobby machinist himself. He's got a couple South Bend lathes and some other machinery, but he's wanting to put him a vise right outside of his shop. He just poured a slab and he wants a vise outside, so he's looking for him a big vise. And he wants me to build this pedestal for him out of this material. And this is stuff that he supplied, and this is his design, so I'm building it as he wants it. What we have is we're going to have a base plate here. This is some 3/8 plate, and it's 10 by 10 square. And then this round here, this is 1/2 inch plate. That's going to be the top plate, and that measures 18-inch round right there. And of course I've got some gussets here also. I think these are like 3x3, 4x4, I'm sorry, out of the same material, the 1/2 inch, so we'll put some gussets on it. And then this will be the actual column of it. This is some 4-inch pipe, and as I said, this is all stuff that he had bought, but I had my buddy Joe down at the welding shop burn this stuff out for me, and it's just a little rusty because I had it in the back of my truck the day that I picked it up, and then it rained. But what we're going to do is I'm going to dress all the edges and get them softened up so that there's no sharp burrs, and I'm going to actually bead blast these parts right here, and then we'll start doing some laying out. And I've also got to cut this pipe to 30 inches, and then I'm going to set it up in the lathe and go ahead and face the end so that we got a nice square end right there, and then we'll start doing some welding. And I believe what I'm going to do, instead of stick weld this, I'm going to use my MIG welder, but I'm gonna take my hard wire out, and I want to use my flux-core wire. That's a type of welding that I've always enjoyed, and I love flux-core wire. And I haven't ever showed it before, and I don't hear very many people talk about it. So we're gonna explore a little bit of flux-core welding. Okay, so let's get started. All right, just cutting the pipe length here. And I've got it about 30 1/8. That'll give me plenty of material to face the ends, and the dimension is not really critical on this. So let's fire it up. I'm actually about out of coolant down there, but I think we'll be okay for this one little cut here. Close up my air conditioner. Alright, I'm getting ready to set this up in the Victor here. I'm going to use a steady rest so that we can face and chamfer the ends of this tube. I'm going to set it up and get it trued with one of my bull nose or bell nose centers right here. And just using the forge jaw. Didn't feel like changing the chucks out, so. And this end I've already dressed with the grinder. Pipe, pipe has that weld seam in there, so you gotta remove that weld seam on the end if you're going to use a center to true up the end. And I just eyeballed these. Those aren't set yet, so what I'm going to do, instead of Instead of tightening that, I'm going to go ahead and run up. Okay, I'm still a little bit high, so I'm going to drop these down some. Okay. Alright, now I got the center in there. Tighten up the top and the front jaw here. And I need to change my indicator out. Still got my 2-inch indicator set up. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, got my regular indicator set up. I'm going to true this up. Now, there's been a couple guys that's talked about recently, you know, they're setting things up and they're using surface gauges and things like that because your part is not completely round. And I like using an indicator, and it's not that you're trying to get it run perfectly true. You're centering it between the jaws. So, you know, I want it to be the same on the indicator on this side as on this side. And same thing whenever you rotate 90 degrees out. So that's all I'm doing, is I'm just getting the pipe centered on the axis. And I'm using the indicator because I can get it closer that way. Alright, so that's about, let's see, we're on 10, 15, so snug that one. Now we're on 12, 11, 10. So, you know, you just kind of get an average there. 12, 11. Alright, so we'll go to that one. We're at 38, we're at 12, so tighten it up. We'll move it this way a little. 25, 23, 24, 24. So now it's centered that way. Go back and check the other way. 11, 11. So there it is, trued up. And you see how long that took. It didn't take long at all. You're not spending a bunch of time eyeballing the edge of a needle. Look and see how close it runs. Okay, so as we just said, this is not completely round, and then that always poses a problem whenever you're running a steady rest on something like that. The best way to do this is to come in here and machine a true spot round and then set your steady rest to it. But we're not going to do that because this is just a piece of pipe and it's going to be a center column. So I'm going to just run this nice and easy on this and just make a straight cleanup cut on the end, and we're going to let it run that way. So we're going to put it in low here. I got to turn the breaker on. Okay. All right, let's see. I need to go ahead and snug up the clamp to the steady rest. Okay. Come up where it's just touching it. Alright, we got both sides touching there. I'm gonna back off the tailstock. Wrong oil. Whey oil. Just helps it slide a little bit better. You hear that knock, knock, knock. That's that pipe for you. This is not something that I enjoy doing particularly, but this is what we're going to do, and we're just going to make a cleanup cut. So all right. Now I will point out something else too here. Using this type of steady rest, I've had a bunch of guys ask me. Well, what's better, this type of fixed jaw or a roller steady rest? But the answer is they both have their advantages. And I think when you're working with a piece that's not round, this is a better setup, because I have done this with my roller steady rest, and I've broken those rollers before. The bearings themselves are busted because of the uneven pressure pushing against it. That was on the big Monarch. I did that. It was a big piece of pipe though. So let's see if we can get a little more speed out of it without making too much heat. I'm going to go ahead and set up a fast feed and go ahead and try to get it going as quick as I can once I turn it on. Take a light cut here. Okay. 25 thousandths there. I'm not putting any cutting oil on this because I want to try to keep it as clean as I can for when I'm welding it. Alright, so far it's doing pretty good. I'm going to come back and take another 25. That's that steady wrist trying to loosen up on me. Right. I'm just going to turn my tool and just break some edges here. That's one side done. That'll give us a nice flat surface to when we're doing our fixturing to do our welding. All right, let's flip it around, move the tool out of the way. We're just going to leave the steady rest set where it's at. Okay. Alright, got to get this side trued up too. Alright, 1/1000th off. It's about 1/1000th off, so good to go. Here it is. Again, doesn't take that long, guys. Why not use a self-centering 4-jaw chuck? Why not use a 3-jaw chuck? Well, what's wrong with a 4-jaw chuck? Alright, just going to do the same thing on this end. I'm probably going to have to take a little more. Get you in a little closer. Okay. Do the same thing. My bandsaw doesn't cut very straight because the blade is dull, and I keep forgetting to order me some new blades for that thing. So we'll have to probably do a little more on this side here. Yep. But I don't want to, I'm just going to take 30. I don't want to push it too hard because of this, the way it's running in the steady rest here, see? 30. That is almost cleaned up right there. We're going to take another cut. Yep, still see a low spot there. So let's take another 30. It's 90, so about 3/30 seconds facing off. Yeah, I think that one's got it this time. This right here is a good example of why you have to have a true round surface when you're doing machining out here, because you can see that cut. It's following that like an elliptical. If you try to machine a certain diameter on the end of that, you won't get a good reading. Just breaking the edges here. Okay. All right. All right, this is done. This took all of maybe 15 minutes at the most. So we got a piece of pipe. It's gotten tight on there. We got a piece of pipe that's nice and true on the ends, so that'll kind of minimize how much we're having to square up whenever we go to weld it to our plates. Just make things a little easier is all. All right, we'll take this out and move on to the steel plate now. Here's a little peek at my blast cabinet, guys. I've showed it a couple times. So I got the gussets and the bottom plate in there. I'm going to clean them up. These are a couple baskets that I use in here for doing small stuff in a blast cabinet. This little guy right here, doing like nuts and bolts and small pieces so you don't lose them in there. And this is actually a stainless steel basket that I don't know who built it. There's a name on here that says Red, but I believe this came from the Navy Yard. So that's also cool for doing parts in here. So turn it on up here. And it's ready to roll. To it. It's been a pretty long time since I've added some, and probably have to do a little fine adjust. But here's the media I run. It's a glass bead. I've had this bucket for a few years now. It's trying to clump up on me a little bit, but that's what the media looks. It looks like sand, but it's actually glass. I'm just going to pour a little bit in. So you can see it. It's been sitting for a long time. It's trying to clump up on me, but it'll get broken up, and it gets pulled over into the filter cabinet there. blasted, and that removed all the rust, and it'll help create a nice clean surface to weld on, and also for painting. You know, once we get through with all the welding, we'll have to go in and wire brush it, and once he gets it, he may have to do a little extra cleaning on it before he puts his paint on it. So I'm just going to use the grinder here. I've got a 40 grit, like a flat wheel, and I'm going to go around. I'm just going to soften all the edges up, make sure there's no slag or sharp edges on it. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we'll set that off to the side. I'm going to do the same thing with the gusset. Most of these are going to be welded in, but I just want to make sure that there's no burrs on them. And then same thing with the base plate here. This is the part's going to be mounted to the concrete. We'll just go ahead and get them all dressed, and we'll come back. Alright, we're going to start doing some simple laying out here. What I want to do is I want to make me a circle on here to center my pipe up on, and also I want some lines that the gussets will be sitting at, welding them to. I forgot one tool. My compass for using the soapstone. We'll use that here. So I'm going to start with a center finder, and the first thing I want to do is I'm going to find me I'm going to make me a center point. And this doesn't have to be, you know, dead nuts accurate. I'm going to go ahead and scratch a couple more just to kind of get a little average of where the center might be. Looking pretty good though. It's off on that one there. Alright, so new center, sent to me by Philip. I'm just going to find the center right there. Okay. All right, and the pipe is 4.5 on the OD. So what we'll do, we'll set the compass to make it a little over. What did I say? 4.5. So we'll make us a circle a little bit bigger than that. I'm just putting it on the 10 mark, and then I'm gonna. Okay, not even. Go just over 2.25. Let's see. All right, we should be able to see that line right there. So just going to make me a circle. This will just be for visual reference to center up the pipe. All right. I also want to go back, and we're going to go ahead and scribe some more lines using the soapstone. Let's go ahead and go all the way across there. Okay. Just eyeballing that machinist square, try to get it about on 90 degrees. Okay. That looks pretty good. Alright, so that'll be our pipe and our gusset locations. They'll set her down just like that and just level it up, and then we'll just eyeball these lines right here, kind of in the center of the plate, get them squared up, tacked, and then that'll be our gusset locations, like that. Okay. So just need to do a repeat on the square plate.